Greetings everybody, coming to you from my 2024 Mercedes-Benz E350 4Matic. This is the all-new W214 body style. I have put a little over 2,000 miles on this car and wanted to kind of give an update. That's definitely enough miles to get an impression. You can see right now with the little dots on the top of the screen, it's listening to me talk, so it may interrupt the video as it does in so many other videos. I may turn that off. There's some pros and cons to leaving that feature on, because sometimes it's useful because you can just tell it commands and it will do them. Other times it'll think you're saying something when you're really not saying it. So yeah, I haven't turned it off yet. You may hear some stuff clacking around. I have some sanitizer down there bouncing around a little bit, and maybe a plastic bottle in the back seat, so ignore the little clicks. Generally speaking, this car is super quiet on the road. Very, very little road noise. I don't know if anybody's done any measurements on it on YouTube. I think I have a sound meter installed on my phone, but I wouldn't be surprised if the noise level of this car is right on par with the S-Class. I've test driven a couple of the new body S-Classes, and the first thing that strikes you driving one of those is just how quiet they are on the road. Of course, it depends on the road surface, but on some smoother roads, even at higher speeds, it's just silent inside. So I would say that Mercedes-Benz has definitely captured the essence of what an E-Class should be with this car. You know, in short, they really got it right. I've done some other videos about things I've discovered that weren't exactly as they should be, but you know, overall, I think this car is just an excellent execution of the E-Class. I think it is definitely a worthy successor to all the E-Classes before it, and I have to say, overall, I am super impressed. The car is supremely comfortable. I just have pretty much the base model with almost no options. The seats are super comfortable, even for longer trips. One cool thing is the passenger side comes standard with memory seats and lumbar support. A lot of luxury cars are not doing that these days and in recent years, but that comes standard. The navigation comes standard. It's not subscription based. I was thinking it would be subscription based, but because that seems to be the model that a lot of luxury car makers are going to try to squeeze a little bit of extra money. But one really interesting thing is value for the money. So if you take the MSRP of the 1986 E-Class 300E, it was somewhere in the vicinity of $35,000 in 1985. And if you plug that into the online calculators, that translates to over $100,000 in today's money. And then I paid $61,000 for this car. And, you know, it of course has way more technology. This one is all-wheel drive. It just has so much more stuff, while still retaining the whole aura of the E-Class in general. You know, the solid driving feel. I mean, it feels the same at 30 as it does at any other speed you might want to drive, legal or illegal. And It's plenty quick. I was able to clock an O to 60 time of 5.85 seconds. That was a very slight downhill. The O to 60 time is a little muted because the 2 to 3 shift, you can actually see the mark on the speedometer there, is right at about 57 miles per hour. So it actually has to shift before it hits 60. So the O to 60 time is a little deceptive when you consider the actual acceleration. I mean, this car, just with the base 4-cylinder engine, it's plenty quick. I know some people out there need more power, and you know, that's fine, but for 98% of the people out there, this car is going to have plenty of power. It gets spectacular gas mileage on the highway. I did a video about that. I was actually able to get 47 miles per gallon on a highway trip. It's more reasonable to expect 38 to 40, you know, especially if you set your cruise at 72 or 77 or whatever like that. Overall, I am getting 28.6 miles per gallon. That includes all the different driving I do, some of what you see now. I do a lot of spirited acceleration. I do probably, I don't know, 60% highway, I would say, maybe a little bit more in that. Oh, and I was just now reminded as I take that turn, as I took that turn right there, one little glitch I've found with the electric power steering assist. So at certain speeds, like maybe between 40 and 50, when you take a sort of a sweeping turn like that, it seems to get a little confused over how much boost it should be applying. And in terms of not turbo boost, but power steering boost, and all of a sudden it'll reduce the steering effort.
Unfortunately, this function can't be operated using voice control.
I'm surprised it actually didn't talk over me before that. But anyway, it will reduce the steering effort so that if you're holding the steering wheel to make the turn, it can actually make you overcook the turn a little bit because you're not expecting it to immediately reduce the steering. There's just something a little weird about that. It's really hard to explain. It's only something that you could fully understand by driving one of these in that exact condition. Let's see, nobody's coming. One cool thing that I really like about it is when you floor it from a stop, I think the electric motor does something to get you going, but when the turbo kicks in, it's very pronounced, and I really like that. I've always liked, for example, diesel engines, which just all of a sudden the turbo kicks in down low. Let me see if there's nobody behind me. Let me see if I can just kind of show you what this looks like. Yeah, so that second little kick, it feels really exciting when that happens. It's fun. I would go so far as to say this car is very fun to drive, but in a luxurious sort of way. This car really doesn't have any sporting intentions. It rides smoothly and all that, but it does very well at what Mercedes-Benzes have historically done, and it'll give you a smooth and comfortable and quiet ride while still handling very well. This particular car, one of the few options it came with was the 19-inch wheels, which are actually staggered. If I recall correctly, they're 245 in the front and 275 in the rear, which I thought was kind of interesting with it being an all-wheel drive car. But yeah, it definitely makes for some good handling. Now, even though they are 19-inch wheels, it still rides very smooth. I don't really notice any harsh feedback from the road, so the Mercedes engineers have done very well at giving a very good quality ride to go along with the good handling. But, you know, it leans much more toward the luxury side. But I think that's why people buy an E-Class, is they want luxury. If you want a more sporty feel, go with a BMW. Just not the new BMW 5 Series. I did a video on that. It got a lot of hate, but I really disliked the 2024 BMW 5 Series. So many things wrong with that car. And I wanted to like it. On paper, it was perfect, but I ended up getting the E-Class, and I really like this car. It is just overall a fantastic car. The initial quality, yeah, nothing major, just stupid stuff like a little bit of loose wood and a couple weird electronic, I'm not even going to call them glitches, I'm going to call them bugs. I did a video about that recently, but nothing fundamentally wrong. Everything works the way it's supposed to. Never any issues with screens freezing or car failing to start or anything like that. It works. The car just works, and it works well. And it gives the impression that it's built in such a way that it will last, just like you know, a lot of the old school Mercedes. I also think it will be reliable long term. The only question mark would be the 48-volt hybrid system. I don't know how that's going to hold up. That's anybody's guess, since that's relatively new technology. But if you are contemplating buying one of these, you know, my experience has been extremely positive. And if you're interested in some other things I have to say about it, I've already done quite a few videos about it. But I wanted to do this one for the first 2,000 miles. There's probably not many of them out there with that many miles yet. And although I'm told my reviews are strange, I actually consider that a compliment, because I am a strange person and I am a weird person. And there are people who appreciate me, believe it or not. So anyway, if you are one of those people, thank you. All right, I think that's it for this video. I'm gonna come to a stop here, and it still has the brake hold thing where if you squeeze the brake pedal with your foot, it'll go into brake hold mode, and it will hold the car. Some other cars, you just push a button and it turns it on. Mercedes has stuck with the old style way of doing that, so they still do it the same way that they've done for, I don't know, past 20 years maybe. Maybe not quite that many. Maybe the 2007 S-Class was the first one they did that in. I can't actually remember. It's funny that it's on that screen here. This was the one I was talking about turning off the first row there, and I don't want to actually say that out loud because it'll kick in. All right, well, have a great day, everyone. Thanks for listening, and more to come.